Okay, we have thought about fractions as equal parts of a whole, and now we're going to think about them as actual numbers on a number line. So in this lesson, we're going to learn how to place a fraction on a number line. And remember, when we talk about fractions, we mean equal parts of a whole. And for a number line then, we'll be thinking about one whole number being broken down into smaller parts. For example, if I'm getting 1/3 of a pizza, then I'm getting one piece out of a total of 3 equal pieces. This means that I'm getting a piece that is bigger than 0, which is none of the pizza, but my piece is less than 1 or less than the whole pizza. Fractions are a part of a number that are greater than 0 but less than 1. Here is a number line, and we know that number lines show numbers in order as they move from the smallest all the way up to the biggest or the largest. And each number has its own spot, which is shown by a tick mark. And each number is equally spaced between the number before it and after it. So here's before and after. You can see the space is the same. And each space represents the same amount. So between 0 and 1, this space represents the same amount as between 1 and 2. So we can use some ones blocks, MAB blocks, to show that. So here's one MAB block, and that's showing how much that space between the 0 and 1 is worth. Here is another ones MAB block, and that shows the space between the 1 and 2, how much that is worth. Here is another ones block, again between the 2 and the 3, that shows 1. And here comes another one. So we know that fractions are part of a whole, and they're less than 1. So if we break the space between the 0 and the 1 into parts on the number line, we will be able to locate and find a fraction spot on the number line also. So if we wanted to locate 1/2, we know that 1/2 is more than 0 but less than 1. So let's zoom in on that space between 0 and 1, this little space here, and let's have a look at that a bit closer to work out where 1/2 would be on a number line. Here is my number line that I have zoomed in on, the space between the 0 and the 1, and all the spaces between the 0 and 1 are fractions. So to create a half, I am breaking this space between the 0 and the 1 into 2 equal parts. I'm going to use this unit block to help you understand this further, or I should say a ones block from my MAB collection. And this one block, remember, represents one block. Just like this space here represents one number. So to cut it in half, or to show half on my block, I'm going to colour in for you. I'm going to find half. And there I have half. I'm going to colour in the half of my ones block. So just like I've coloured in my one whole block in half, I'm going to colour in this one whole line into half also. So here we go, I've cut it into half, 2 equal parts. And this part here would represent 1/2. And I'm going to write that there just for you to see. That would show 1/2 on the number line. It's half of the number line between 0 and 1. Okay, let's look at representing 1/4 on a number line. So I've got my space here again between 0 and 1. There's my number line. Now we know 1/4 is more than 0 but less than one whole number, okay, of the number 1. So I've got my unit block again here, my ones block. Now that represents one whole block. Okay, and now I want to find on there 1/4. So I'm going to divide it into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I want to find 1/4. So I'm going to colour in one of those 4 equal parts. Just going to quickly colour it in. So there we go. That shows 1/4 of my ones block. Now, just like I divided my ones block up, I'm going to divide up my number line between 0 and 1. And cleverly, I've already done that. So I've already put 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in there on my number line. Now, just like I did on the unit block, I'm going to show where 1/4 would be. I'm going to line it up, same kind of thing, and I'm going to colour in the space between 0 and the first little mark, first little tick mark, and that shows, that represents there 1/4. Okay, and you can see that it's similar to up here. That was 1/4 of the block. This space here is 1/4 on the number line. Okay, we're up to looking at placing 1/3 on a number line. So here we go. Here's our number line again, the space between 0 and 1. So if we want to locate 1/3, we know that 1/3 is more than 0, but less than 1. Okay, so I've got my ones MAB block here that represents one whole number, just like this space represents one whole number, and I want to find 1/3 on that unit block. So let's have a look. I'm going to cut that unit block into 3 equal parts. So here I go. 1, 2, and then 3, and I want to show 1/3, so I'm only going to colour in one of those 3 parts. There we go. Colour it in, a bit messy, but that's okay. You still understand what I'm doing. So just like I represented 1/3 on my unit block, I'm going to represent 1/3 on my number line. Now my number line, I've already cut it into 3 equal parts. I prepared it a bit earlier. So 1/3 would just be one of those 3 equal parts. Okay, so I'm going to write there too 1/3 to show you what it would look like on a number line. Okay, representing 1/5 on a number line. So here's my number line again between 0 and 1. Here is my MAB, my 1 block. Okay, and I want to show 1/5 on this number line. So I'm going to do as I have done with the others before. I'm going to cut this one whole unit block into 5 equal parts. Now I know 1/5 is one of those 5 equal parts, so I'm going to colour in 1/5. And my number line below, you will see that it has already been divided into 5, or cut into 5 equal parts. I've got 5 tick marks there. So the first little space here between my tick marks, just like above, that's going to represent 1/5. Okay, let's see how you've gone with your understandings about locating fractions on a number line. Here are my fractions over this side. Here are my number lines over this side. And these number lines are representing each of those fractions. And we're going to do a bit of a matching up game and see if we can connect the right fractions to the correct number line. So let's look at 1/2 first. So 1/2, we know that 1/2 is when we break the space between 0 and 1 into 2 equal parts. So which of the number lines have shown that the space between 0 and 1 have been broken into 2 equal parts? So did you say that it would be 1/2 would look like this number line? You would be right, because the space between 0 and 1 has been broken into 2 equal parts. Alright, what about 1/3? So we know when 1/3 is represented on the space between 0 and 1, then it has been, the space has been broken into 3 equal parts. So which of those number lines has shown that the space has been broken into 3 equal parts? Did you say this one? You would be correct. There are 3 equal parts on that space between 0 and 1. Okay, let's look at 1/4. So we know that with 1/4 that the space between 0 and 1 has been broken into 4 equal parts. So which one of those number lines have been broken into 4 equal parts? If you said this one, you would be correct. And you can see the arrow is at that first quarter, that first equal part. Okay, last one, 1/5. It's pretty obvious. It's the last one left. So the space between 0 and 1 would be broken into 5 equal parts to represent 1/5. That would be the first equal part out of 5 on the number line. And there we go. So hopefully you did all right and you were able to match each of those fractions up to their correct number line. Awesome work on fractions. Keep up the great effort.